We're Chris and Hillary, and we were bitten by the bikepacking bug after we spent 2 months touring around Turkey last year.
Bikes are life.
Now we're headed to Sardinia, an Italian island in the Mediterranean.
This time, we're joined by our good friends Caroline and Shelley.
Long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
We're excited to spend about a month biking, enjoying some of the world's most beautiful beaches, exploring ancient places, and eating delicious food.
But first we have to get to Sardinia, and we're bringing our touring bikes with us.
It will take 3 days and 4 modes of transportation, but we're hoping it's worth it.
This is Caroline and Shelley's first long bike tour. So first, we made sure their bikes were ready for the trip.
So they're going to be very cool or very dumb.
First loaded up ride.
I love this!
Then it was time for packing.
Okay, that's recording. Are they both recording? Okay, have fun.
Thanks.
Do you want my help at all packing?
No, I'll just ask you questions. That's okay. I guess here's my first question. Should I bring this sleeping shirt? Flying with a bike is always a challenge, but flying with 4 bikes plus all our luggage turns out to be a little bit of a logistical nightmare.
We've learned to pack our bikes in the smallest boxes possible and just start loading our bikes into the luggage before they can tell us that it won't fit. Bikes are in the trailer.
We did it.
It's a start. It's a start.
It's a start. When we were deciding where to go for this trip, we considered Ireland, but decided on Sardinia because of the weather. More on the weather later. Our flight on Aer Lingus took us through Dublin, though. We decided we needed to touch Irish soil, even if just outside the airport. And we had enough time for a quick pint before our next flight.
Next stop, Barcelona, where we would take an overnight ferry to Sardinia. But the ferry didn't leave until 2 a.m. the next night, so our plan was to spend the day in Barcelona, putting our bikes together and exploring the city. Again, the taxi we had arranged, which sent a bus instead of the van we were expecting, almost didn't have room for our bikes, so we had to repack to fit.
Hey Shelley, where are we?
On my bachelorette party.
The one you never had.
We're in a VIP bus taxi situation going to our hotel in Barcelona. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, just putting bikes together in Barcelona.
Putting our bikes together was a bit of a tight fit in the small hotel rooms.
Front fender.
Is it broken? Oh, totally broken. No, just bent.
Pretty well.
Pretty bent. With my fender bent back into place, we stashed our bikes in Shelley and Caroline's room and headed out to explore the city.
First stop, Decathlon for camp fuel. I also forgot to pack my bike helmet, so I had to pick up a new one. It's a helmet.
Yeah.
The Church of the Sagrada Familia has been under construction for over 140 years. Construction began in 1882, and the architect Antoni Gaudí spent most of his life working on the structure and was buried in the crypt in 1926. Construction has been delayed by the Spanish Civil War, a fire set by anarchists which partially burned Gaudí's plans, lack of funding, and the complexity of the designs. The church is expected to be completed in 2026, but that's been delayed by COVID.
The church piqued our interest in Gaudí's unique style of architecture, so we visited another building he designed before heading over to get a feel for the ferry situation.
Hillary, where are we?
We're running to try and get food because we want to go try and figure out how to get on the ferry, and we found out that it's a lot farther away and harder to find than we thought. And then we realized all the grocery stores are closing, and there's no food on the ferry. I mean, there is food on the ferry, but we didn't pay to get it because we're cheap.
And now we're running.
This is where we're at.
Check everything. Yeah, we're good. We're gonna check again. I've got phones, passports, wallets.
Are we riding down the hallways?
Here we go.
Around midnight, we left the hotel and headed out into Barcelona on our bikes to catch the ferry. Turn it the other way.
Thanks. Get out there.
We ready?
Yeah.
Side note, this gaggle of teenagers was some school group on its way to Rome for a singing competition or something. They spent much of the ferry ride singing ABBA in the stairwells.
After a lot of hurry up and wait, we finally boarded the ferry around 1 a.m.
We left our bikes down on the car deck with the rest of the bicyclists and headed up to get some rest in our sleeper cabin. Hi,
Hi,
where are we?
I'm gonna end this hallway.
Coffee. We finally rode onto Sardinian streets in Puerto Torres on the north side of the island at around 5 p.m. It was quite the ordeal, but it was worth it. We're excited to share the rest of our bike trip across Sardinia with you. Subscribe to follow along, and we'll see you next time. Cool.
About what I
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah.